This is a true story based on historical events recorded in the annals of the Joseon dynasty. After Yonsan is defeated by the opposition faction, Jung Jong becomes the new leader, but the officials turn against him, leading the nation to a great disruption. The people scream in pain while the soldiers are executing people whom they think are infected by the plague. They were killing innocent lives without even checking if they had the plague first. They killed everyone. Even a mother who was begging for her child's life. A little girl was sitting beside her mother in the pile of dead people that were killed by the soldiers. She was trying to wake her mother up. One of the soldiers saw her and got her out of there before the whole place got destroyed. The king and his council discussed the current rumor that has been surfacing and causing the public to panic. It is rumored that a beast called Monstrum has been attacking people in the mountains. Even though there have been several testimonies that the monster is real and that it's attacking people at the mountain, the king seems determined to find out once and for all if it was true, and that it isn't just the doing of one of the officials. The king accuses the prime minister of this act. He believes that the monster is his fabrication to turn the people against him and overthrow his power. The prime minister denies every allegation that the king accused him of. The king plans on hiring his investigator to check whether or not the monster is real. The prime minister agreed to the king's terms to prove his innocence. Two hunters in the forest tried to find something to hunt, but they couldn't find anything. One of the hunters hinted that maybe this was because of the monster that is rumored to live at the mountain. After a while, they tried to check the traps they set, but it turned out it was working, and they even caught one of the hunters. A young woman approaches them and makes fun of their hunting skills. She is the daughter of one of the hunters, and the other one is her uncle. They gave up on hunting and resorted to fishing, but they still couldn't find anything. They returned home and prepared food, as they hadn't had anything to eat for quite a while. The father of the girl asks her to bring radishes from their garden. When she's in the garden, she sees a stranger around the house. She quickly grabs her arrows and asks the man who he is. The man tells her he is here looking for the owner of this house, the former commander of the royal guard. She tells him that there's no one like that here and that she is mistaken. While they're having this conversation, the girl's uncle creeps up on her and she accidentally shoots her arrow. After barely missing the arrow, the young soldier looks at the young girl, and she looks at him. They were both mesmerized. Luckily, the young soldier was able to move away quickly. The father of the young woman goes outside, hearing all the noises. The young soldier greets him as commander and tells him he works for the king. The man's daughter couldn't believe that her father used to be a commander. Her uncle told her he used to be one too. The man seemed to have no interest in his past life and told the young soldier to go back to the palace. After a short while, he sees the king himself is here. He is shocked to see him this year and bows to him. They start talking, and the king asks the commander if he still resents him for the things he did in the past. While the man was still commander, he rescued a little girl while the rest of the people who might have had the plague were killed. The commander insisted on keeping the little girl alive. The council insisted he get executed because he violated the king's order, but the king granted him mercy on the condition that he leave the palace and never return there again. The king explains to the commander that the officials have tied his hands and are trying to dethrone him. If he hadn't made him leave that day, they would have had him killed. The king asks the commander to come back to the palace and help him uncover the truth about the alleged monster. The commander agrees to return and help the king maintain his throne by finding out the truth about the monster. In the morning, he tells his brother and daughter to pack as they will be returning. The brother tries to convince him that this is too dangerous, but the commander has already made up his mind. They pack their stuff and start their way to the village. Meanwhile, there are people on the mountain trying to make a sacrifice for the monster. A strange thing attacks them and kills the people. A little girl tries to steal some of their food, but she ends up witnessing the incident and runs away. The commander and his family arrive at the village, and they are offered food and hospitality. But just before they can feast, the young man who brought them here tells them something has happened and that they should come with him. When they get to the scene, there are multiple dead people. They got attacked as they were trying to offer a sacrifice for the monster. The commander asks who discovered the scene. They tell him that it was the little girl, and he asks for her to be brought up. He asks her what exactly she saw. She tells him she saw the monster. She was the only witness to the incident, so they couldn't confirm what it was for sure. On the other hand, they found suspicious clues that make it seem like it was done by people. The commander orders his brother to spy on the girl. He follows her and sees her receive food from a stranger on horseback. Reporting back, the commander then confronts her. She admits she lied out of hunger, not knowing the man's identity, and insists she believes in the monster despite never seeing it. An injured traveler arrives, infected with a plague. The commander and his brother search the mountain for his missing companions, while the girl and soldier examine his body. The soldier admires her bravery and knowledge. The commander presents the king with bodies, suspecting many were killed by a man due to rope marks. However, a dying traveler claimed to have seen the monster. Testing his blood on a rat, they watch it develop blisters and die instantly. The king still couldn't believe the monster was real. He wants to perform a search to prove once and for all that the monster isn't real and relieve the public from fear. He called his council for advice on the search team. The Prime Minister suggested that he take the Tiger Knights. The Tiger Knights are like the Prime Minister's private army and are loyal to him. The king decides to take 100 soldiers from the Tiger Knights with the commander's leadership. The Prime Minister also suggested including volunteers from the public to quiet the rumors, but that isn't the case. The soldiers are instructed to force the public to participate by the Prime Minister. The soldiers force people into participating, including children and old men. The commander sends the children home, but an old man stays to share his knowledge. His daughter, disguised as a soldier, insists on joining when discovered. With the Tiger Knights, they set off into the mountains. After a long search, they didn't find anything. The commander's brother suggests they stop their search for today, but the leader of the Tiger Knights insists on continuing. They decide to resume the search and split up. They agree that they will shoot flares if they find the monster. The commander's brother follows the old man near a cave, where the commander and his daughter find a large paw print.
발자국은 본 적이 없습니다.
Meanwhile, the Tiger Knights leader orders the execution of volunteers. Some escape, but most are killed. He then fires a flare to deceive the commander's team into coming. The commander tries to go down to the cave to discover what's down there. As he is going down, a flare is shot from the other side. Suddenly, a series of arrows starts shooting and killing the volunteer soldiers. The commander climbs up, and they start fighting with the Tiger Knights that attacked them. They bravely fight off the night. Finally, they are captured by a trap. The leader of the Tiger Knight tells them that they shouldn't have come here. The leader recognized the girl from years ago when the commander saved her while he was executing people for having the plague. He orders his knight to throw the girl and the young soldier into the cave. They get thrown into the cave. The commander tries to save them, but he is unable to. The girl and young soldier cling to the cave walls, avoiding a fall. The leader signals the Prime Minister, faking the search team's death, and fires arrows inside to kill them. As he prepares to execute the commander and his brother, a beast-like monster appears, proving real. It attacks, killing some knights while the rest, including the leader, flee to the palace. The commander and his brother escape and enter the cave, finding the girl and young soldier among corpses, proof the monster lives there. An old man appears, advising them to cover themselves in the monster's goo to mask their scent. As they attempt to flee while it sleeps, the monster awakens and chases them. The knights tell the Prime Minister that the monster is real. The Prime Minister plans to use the situation to create fear among the public. He instructs the knights to set the village on fire to turn the public against the king. Several houses are burned on the Prime Minister's command. The old man leads them to a secret place and tells them the story behind the beast. The old king used to keep beasts, and the old man used to be the caregiver of the beast. The beast ate plague-infected people and turned into a monster. The monster shows up and recognizes the old man. The old man helps them escape by trapping the monster. The prime minister tries to win the hearts of the people by appearing noble and kind to them. The commander goes to the king to tell him all about what's happening. The prime minister and his soldiers attack the king and the commander. He also orders the royal soldiers to be killed. They kidnapped the commander's brother and daughter. While the prime minister shows his true colors, the monster suddenly attacks them and kills the knights. Finally capturing the monster, the prime minister instructs them to unleash it on the streets. The king and the commander escape, as well as his brother and daughter. They plan on destroying the beast using explosives. The people rush to the palace for protection, but the commander's daughter warns them the monster is inside, and the prime minister burns their homes. Outraged, they lock the doors to trap the monster with the prime minister. The monster kills him but remains a threat. The commander's brother and the young soldier prepare the explosives while the commander tries to lure the monster to it. The leader of the Tiger Knight shows up and fights with the young soldier. He is finally killed by the commander's daughter. The two young people confess their love to each other. The commander tries to lure the monster to the explosives, but realizes that the fire to the explosives is out, and he has to go back and light it up. Locks down the door, telling his brother to escape. His brother escapes hesitantly with the commander's daughter. The commander and the monster come face to face, and he lights up the explosives when the monster tries to attack him. Unfortunately, the commander is near the explosives. When it blows up, he is presumed to be dead. The daughter of the commander runs to the place and cries in agony. She then sees a rope leading to something. It is her father. He is still alive. They move quickly to lift the things on him. The daughter cries in happiness because her father is still alive. The kingdom rejoices, celebrating the monster's death. The commander and his brother return to the mountains, where his brother asks how he escaped. The commander explains that he used a rope tied to the beast to propel himself away from the explosion. With the monster gone, peace is finally restored, and the kingdom is rebuilt. Did this story spook you out? Let us know in the comments below. For more horror movie recaps, subscribe to our channel, and we will see you on the next one. Fear awaits you.